Hey guys, welcome to the show. I'm your host, Scott McGillivray, and this is the Real Estate Rebel podcast. Now, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us wherever you get your podcasts, and visit me at scottmcgillivray.com for more real estate information. Now, I'm super excited about today's guest. His name, Grant Cardone. He is a real estate guru. He is a marketing genius. The guy is the 10x master. If you follow him on Instagram or if you're into any of the training that's out there, you've probably seen this guy's stuff. He has over $2 billion worth of real estate holdings, and he cash flows like a madman on that portfolio. So I'm going to talk to him today. I want to find out how he got started. I want to know how he built such a big portfolio. I want to get to the bottom of 10x and what it means if you want to start investing in real estate. And, I've been following him for years, and he does a lot of flexing. I say, Grant Cardone, he's flexing and 10xing all the time. Fancy cars, jets, watches, big apartments, fancy trips. I mean, he really is unapologetic for the most part about his success. And that's a good thing because he's proud of himself, but he's also trying to teach people how to repeat the system that he built. Before I bring him on the show, I want to let you guys know that I'm also going to wrap up with my own 10x experience. When people ask me, if I could go back, what would I do differently? And I say, well, I don't really have any regrets, but I definitely know that I should have done more faster. I should have had more confidence. Instead of buying one house at a time, I should have been buying 10 at a time. And my first 10xing experience was when I was about 24 years old. I was challenged with my brokers who were telling me, I can't get any more financing, you can't get any more properties. That was it. Everyone said, you're done, you're done, you're done. And at the time I was buying one house at a time, and I was just like, that's it. The door is closed. I can't do this anymore. And 30 days later, I bought 8 houses in one day. I can tell you how I did that. It was wild. I've shared this story before. But that was my first 10xing experience where I was like, I can't be buying one house at a time. I need to be buying 8 at a time or 10 at a time. And I figured it out. I hacked it, and I never looked back. I started buying multiples and then got into commercial properties. And this is what Grant's talking about. He is the 10x guy. Let me welcome to the show, Grant Cardone. He is the best at what he does. He's not just a real estate investor. He's a sales trainer. He's an author. He's a motivational speaker. And what I tell people about Grant Cardone is that he is always flexing and 10xing. So Grant, welcome to the show.
Hilarious. That's good. You know what? I might actually steal that as a tagline: flexing and 10xing.
Dude, it's the best way to describe you, is it not?
I don't know. I don't mean to I saw something Hater was posting the other night. I'm sick of hearing about your watch collection. See, you're not the only guy with a private jet. And what else? He complained about something else about me showing off, and I don't really do that to it's not my favorite card to play.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, for whatever reason, just to be completely transparent, it's my guys in my tech office that are running a lot of our social stuff. When COVID hit, I'm like, guys, pull all the watches, the jets, the money, the cash, pull all those images. This is not the time for that. And about 7 days later, Johnny, the camera guy, calls me and says, hey, we need to go back with the jets. Yes. We need to go back with the cash. We need to go back with the watches. People love that stuff. So
people do. They do, man.
The flex really, when you're watching the flex, just make sure that you're watching who you're watching it from, because there's a level of flex where, I was watching a documentary on Ted Turner last night. He's one of the largest ranch owners in the United States of America. That's a flex there, dog.
That's a flex.
And Elon Musk just bought, not Elon, but Jeff Bezos just bought a massive ranch. I'm into the ranch thing right now, but those are big. That's a different level of flex than Drake buying 17, 1 carat diamonds for his neck.
Well, I like watching it. I'll tell you what I like about it. I like that, you're unapologetic and you come from an authentic place, and you don't take for granted how hard you've worked and how exciting it can be, but also how motivational, you know, you need to surround yourself with people that show you how it's possible and what's out there. And when I'm following you on Instagram, when I'm watching your posts, you know, it's like I see the jet and I'm like, I know that's within reach. I got to see it a couple more times.
Yeah.
That's on my list.
We got to get you on it, Scott. We just get you on it, let you sit in the captain's chair, and then light that bad boy up and hear it rumble under you, and you're like, oh wow, now I understand. Like, I wasn't on a private jet until I was 50. Let me see, I was 50, maybe 51 years old, 52 years old. And it was my jet. I had never been on a jet, a private jet. I'd flown 3 million miles commercial. People had talked to me about, you know, buying the net share and the charters. And I'm like, there's no way I'm going to write a check for 30 grand. There's no way I'm going to write a check for 30,000 to fly from Miami to Denver when I can pay $350 in coach, because I'm a very practical person. I pay $350 for coach, cross my fingers, hope for an upgrade, and fly there first class. There's no way I'm going to do it. So I reached a point in my career where I could not fly anymore. Like, literally, I'd flown 3 million miles. I'd been away from my family. I didn't have family till I was 50. And part of the reason I didn't have family till I was 50 was because between 25 and 50 years old, all I did was work. And I was gone all the time. I couldn't have relationships because I was always gone. That's the part of the story people don't see. They see the flex today, but they don't see, dude, the real flex was the work. It was the work ethic. It was getting up. One year I worked 251 days without returning home.
Jesus.
I was cold calling. I'm 31 years old, cold calling on businesses, one day after the next, moving from city to city by myself, soul, lonely, desperado.
So why did you, what made you wake up one day and say, I'm going to kick some ass. I'm going to work my butt off. Like what?
2008, man, 2008. The first thing was, just coming out of a treatment center. I mean, I learned to work so that I wouldn't use drugs. So I came out of a treatment center for drug addiction, and I had been, from the age of 16 to 25, I used drugs every day. Weeds, pills, like, you know, all the, like everything, like anything. Like I was a mess. And I'm not proud of that, and I don't recommend it. And I'm saying that humbly. Like I just, my life took a wrong path, and unfortunately, I stayed on that wrong path for 9 years. And then when I went to treatment and I came out of the treatment center, I was so committed to not using drugs again. When I came back, I just threw myself into work. I was not trying to get rich. I was not trying to become a boss. I wasn't trying to buy a Patek watch or a Richard Mille or a jet. I never, ever dreamed of any of that stuff. All I wanted to do was not use drugs. And if I happened to become successful later, that was way down the line. In the beginning, I was just trying not to go back to that treatment center. And then 2 or 3 years later, after I started creating some success, I'm like, okay, now I'm interested in winning at this game. And the more you win at the game, the more you're like, hey, I could do more things. I mean, your potential is not going to be realized. You will not realize your full potential until you have some wins.
I agree.
That's true for everybody, no matter who you are. Like, you cannot disagree with this concept that wins open doors to new wins. They just open your mind to new possibilities that you cannot know are possible until you start moving into other, walking through other doorways. Like, I remember,
like there's a momentum to it. It's like, winning begets winning, right?
Some spiritual, it's either something spiritual where you walk through, it's almost like you're walking through into another universe that was not available to you. We're just occluded, because I don't think everybody's occluded to possibility. Because I see guys like Elon Musk. I'm like, that guy, he can see. Steve Jobs, all these guys, they seem to be able to see into the future. And I couldn't see that. Couldn't ask what the pair of blue jeans cost me. Like to me, like, oh, those are $49. I need to wait until they're on sale for 25. And then I'll buy a pair because I can make sense of the ones I have. You know, it's back to the coach ticket. I'm buying coach tickets. Dude, I flew coach for 20 years.
Yeah.
Nobody knows that about me. 3 million miles, you know, just do the average trip's about 1,000 miles, thousands of boardings through TSAs, going through my bags, getting my shit lost. You know, it's brutal, man.
Well,
And
people see the success. They see the results, right? They look at you and they're like, wow, what's the magic button that this guy hit to all of a sudden be successful? They don't see. That's the story that I think a lot of people don't know about you is the hustle. For 20 years, there was no Instagram posts. There was no, you know, flash and money. There was no private jets. There was the hustle, the hustle, the hustle. And now you got the results. That's what people are focused on, right?
yeah, well, the thing is, you just got to keep growing. Never quit and keep growing. Keep looking for somebody else to teach you the next doorway that you're occluded to. And you know, regardless, like people can see me and they judge me, oh, he's cocky and he's arrogant. They don't like my delivery or whatever. And I'm very adamant about whatever I believe in. Like if I'm doing it, I believe in it like 99%. And I'm not going to even show you the 1% I don't believe.
Yeah.
So if I'm doing something, I am so I believe it so much to be true that I present it in a way that's the only way. Well, it is the only way for me.
Yeah.
At that moment, it doesn't mean it's the only way for others, right?
No, absolutely. But let me ask you something because let me just say this because yeah. What they don't see with all that confidence, what they don't see is that I'm always reaching out to someone that knows more than I can to reveal to me that next thing. Like I do have some humility. Humility is not just what you show people. Humility is who you really are when people aren't looking. That I'm asking other people for help. That I'm asking questions over and over. You know, hey, what don't I know here? What do I need to know that I don't know? What can't I see that you see? You know, like I spend a lot of time getting counseling help about what I'm occluded to. Wow. There's a lot there under the hood. That's for sure. What was the first like big investment that you made where you started to get traction? Was it real estate? Like real estate was your big thing?
Yeah. Well, I bought a house when I was 28 years old. I put $33,000 down and, sold that house like 6 months later. 3,000 turned into 6,000. The house was 78 grand. I financed it. I didn't know I had no clue what I was doing. And but I was like, wow, dude, this is going to be my deal. I'm going to buy real estate. I thought I was going to become like, you know, Sam Zell or something, you know. And so I bought one house. Bought a second house 30 days later. And then the third thing I would buy would be 3 years later. It was an apartment building. That was my breakthrough.
Wow.
From the first two houses, I learned never buy another house again. Buy apartments. And that's what you've been doing. And so in addition to buying apartments, all I did was I went and cold called companies. When everybody else wouldn't call on another company, I would call on another 100. And they're like, dude, how do you do this? I said, bro, I take all the money they give me and I put it into apartments that will always take care of me. So I was always broke. That's the other thing is like, where's your energy come from? Dude, most of the time I don't have any money.
You got to hustle.
I go out, cold call somebody, they give me money, whatever is left over after taxes and expenses, I take it and I bury it into a real asset.
Yeah.
So I'm on zero again. I got to go knock on another door. I've just been repeating that process.
Yeah. Well, you got no choice but to work if you're in that scenario, right?
That's the Elon Musk all in kind of phenomenon. You know, when he sold PayPal, he walked away with 180 million, paid his taxes, and then dumped the entire remainder into SpaceX, solar, and Tesla.
It's crazy. That's crazy. So how did 10x become your thing? Bring me to the beginning of 10x and tell me a little bit more about that for the people who are not 100% sure what it means.
Yeah. So 10x, I write books for me to solve some problem. When I'm writing a book, I'm trying to solve some problem I'm having.
Yeah.
And if somebody calls me and says, hey, write a book about this, I'm like, I'm probably not going to be able to do that. I haven't yet anyway. But I will write to solve my problems. And 2008 happened. By 2010, I realized I was like asking myself, hey, why am I at that time 50 years old, outwork everybody I know, and I'm still not getting ahead? Because 2008 basically pulled back 20 years of work for me.
Yeah.
And put me in a situation where I thought I was going to go bankrupt. Thought the house, our family was going to lose everything. I was going to let my family down. We had our firstborn coming about. I'd been married 3 or 4 years, so I had a kind of a new life going on, and I felt like I'd let everybody down because 2008 like pulled the rug out from a lot of people.
Yeah, me as well, bro. I felt the same way.
So I'm like, hey, what did I do wrong here? And the first answer was nothing. I wasn't part of the housing, subprime, all the mortgage bullshit that was going on. But I asked myself, but what were you a part of? What did you participate in that puts you in a position to play defense rather than offense? Because I saw other people on offense. I saw Warren Buffett going out and making the biggest moves of his life. Why am I in defense mode and he's in offense mode? And it's because I never, and I realized, I'm like, oh, I never went big enough. I thought 8 or 10 million bucks was a lot of money. I should have gone for 80 or 100 million. And so the 10x rule is basically a multiplier. It's like whatever you think is enough, you are underestimating by 10 times. Whatever problems you complain about, you need 10 times the problem.
Yeah.
And whatever money that you don't have, you need 10 times the goals, the expenses, the advertising, the customer base. If you think 100 customers is enough, go get 1,000, and then you might be right.
I think the big thing that entrepreneurs are interested in is like, okay, so you've got your real estate stuff. You say 10x. People want to be like you in some capacity. They want to be able to grow like you, be a boss like you. They want their business to grow 10x. Like, what is I guess, they're behind, when I watch your stuff, I'm like, okay, I get the 10x stuff because I'm an entrepreneur. I've bought so much real estate over the last 20 years. And, I got my own 10x stories that blow people's minds. I went from 1 house to 2 houses to 10 houses. That was my first sort of 10x. I'm like, this is garbage. I can't do this one at a time. I'll be dead by the time I get to any of my goals. So what is it like? How do you make it real? I find it's like, okay, 10x everything, but that's extreme for some people. So how do you motivate them?
Dude, look, you gotta decide. You gotta understand first what you're doing. I'm not talking to you specifically, but the audience. It's what you just said about the 1 house, 2 houses. Dude, it's not scalable.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. What we have been educated, mass portions of the world have been educated to play small, think small, do small. It does not work. So when you say, hey man, 10x seems impossible. No, it's not impossible. What's impossible is playing the small game. Playing the small game is impossible. Like I discovered this where I'm like, man, it's so hard to be successful. And a guy said to me, bro, it's harder to be a failure than it is to be successful. He was worth $4.4 billion when he told me this. I said, excuse me? He's like, harder to live a life with nothing than it is to live a life and have everything you want. He's like, you need to change the way you think, man. And I was like, man, dude, it's you know how much creativity it takes to operate with almost nothing? Every day shucking and jiving, and like I remember, dude, not like people need different level of problems than they have. And I've complained about everything everybody else. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. I can't find good people. And my thinking changed with 10x, where like rather than complaining about 10 employees who don't work 8 hours a day, I'm going to get 10,000 employees that don't work 8 hours a day. See, I just
Sure.
shift problems, right? I shift the problem like, okay, rather than complaining about people not giving their 100%, I'm going to go get 10 times more people. So, I mean, the 10X rule changed everything for me. We had 3 employees. Now we have 155 in one company, 350 in another. And I'm trying to go from 300 to 3,000 and then 30,000. Like it just changes your level of problems. Cause now at 30,000 employees, I will not be dealing with people anymore.
No. You'd be dealing with a couple managers maybe.
Exactly.
So what are you doing now? Like, okay, so 2008 happened. I get that. But for sure, the world's given us all a bit of a kick in the butt the last year and made us think differently.
Yeah.
What do you do about this? What's
So
your advice?
here's COVID. Just another reminder. Every 10 or 12 years, something comes along and says, hey, bro, you got enough? Oh, yeah. Everybody just woke up. Shit, my job's not secure. My savings is not secure. The stock market's not secure. It goes down 3,000 or 4,000 points. Then I missed the ride 4,000 points up. What am I doing, man? You can't get on a plane today. Okay, you can't go to church. Your kids can't go to school. You guys were pissing and moaning because I'm telling you to get a nanny 2 years ago, and you're like, oh, that's an elitist. Yeah, well, you had to get a fucking nanny now. Okay, telling you I'm homeschooling people because I want them out of the system. Now you're forced to homeschool people, and you don't have the money to do it, and you don't have the time. See, basically what I've been saying for 7 or 8, 9 years now is the middle class does not work. It was created as an illusion by government officials, politicians, to say, oh, we have the greatest middle class in America, like it's some great thing. It's not a great thing. You're overtaxed. You don't have any time. You don't have time for your family. You don't have any money. Okay, everything you're pitched, basically you run this, the middle class is the foundation of America. Yep. Okay, because the rich don't pay taxes and neither do the poor. So the middle class pay for everything.
Nobody likes to hear that. Nobody likes to hear that.
And so you got to change the game. All I'm saying to people today is like, look, Scott, like your audience has to think, how do I get into that 1%? How do I get in that top 5% club? Who are they? What do they earn? What do they do? Where do they live? How do they pay their taxes or not pay their taxes? How do they operate their business? Are they partnerships, ownerships, LLCs? Study those people, not just some guru on Instagram.
Well, what is it that people can do? Like, let's say you're starting over today. You're somebody who's interested in getting into real estate or investing or starting your own business, but you got a day job, you work 40 hours, you're struggling, you're kind of in your like 30s, 40s, or 50s, and you're just not sure if pivoting is going to take you down the right direction. Because that's what stops people is fear, right?
Well, I think that I don't know that fear stops people personally. I think that if I told you there was a $900 million reward, but you had to take a little tiny fragile bridge over the Grand Canyon and walk it. But if you can get to the other side, dude, there's 900 million over there.
Okay.
You know, you would be scared, but you'd still probably do it.
For 900 million, probably. I'd figure my way
across. $1 billion. Let's round up to $1 billion after taxes. Yeah. And you become a billionaire if you walk the thing. You might be scared. You may do it. Some people might not do it. The point of the story is like your bonus, the payoff needs to be so enormous that you guys are willing to take the risk. And for most of us, the reward, the bonus, the work is not big enough. I'll go back to when I was 25 years old. The reason I worked so hard was not for the reward. It was to avoid going back to that treatment center. The payoff, I said, I never want to be a drug addict. I never want to look in the mirror again and say, I did drugs today. So you got to figure out a reward. What I would tell everybody, number one thing to do if you're in a place where you don't like it, you need to change the way you think. You need to get around somebody. If you can't do it on your own, which you probably can't, because if you could have, you would have. Get around some people that are thinking different. And don't throw away all this flex right now. Don't watch this and say, I don't need all that. because I don't need all that, is going to get you back to where you are right now.
It's true.
So, dude, you got to study other people. You got to study other people. Everybody's in a trap. You can't see the next doorway because of where you live, the way you were, the way you were educated, how you were, the people you were surrounded by. You can only think. Most of us can only think as big as where we grew up.
Yeah. So like what's the blueprint then for people? They got to start thinking bigger. They got to
make a commitment. One, you got to commit. One, you got to make a decision right now. You got to be like, I'm done being here. Number two, seek some help. You got to go to treatment. You got to go get treatment. You need to go somewhere like I did and get away where there's drugs. The favorite drug of choice in America today is comfort.
Yeah.
It's not heroin. It's not oxycodone. It's fucking comfort. It's I'm comfortable on my sofa. That sofa and that TV over there are built for me to lay on. and be around my family. And the more family and the more love you get, love is comfort. Your refrigerator, your surroundings, things that are familiar, family.
Yeah.
Those things.
They're addicted, man.
Dude,
people are addicted to what's easy.
Dude, it's seductive. It's addictive. That's why I'm like, never get advice from a loved one about what you need to do next. Because they're wrong people. You need a coach that does not love you. You need a coach that believes in you. I
have this quote that I said, a real leader doesn't try to change the world. They try to get the world to ask them to change it. Right?
I love that.
As a sales guy, you'd like that.
Yeah, I love that.
The one last thing I want to get to before I ask you a couple other little personal questions, but is the real estate side. I personally, that's how I got started in real estate. It took me a while. I was stuck in residential for 10 years. All I bought was residential properties because I thought everything else was too big. I thought everything else was too big.
So were you right? Were you right or wrong about that?
Oh, I was way wrong. I wish I had somebody kind of a bug in my ear when I was younger saying you're going too slow, even though I felt like I was going fast, right? And there's a lot of people right now who are literally thinking, okay, they're watching real estate, even in a pandemic, real estate going up in value.
Yeah.
And they for 20, 30 years, you've been watching real estate go up and down all the way up. What is because I'm the real estate guy, and most of the people listening they want to know, what can I do now to start building wealth through real estate? What is something I can do now? What's going to motivate me to make this happen? If you were on stage talking to this audience right now, 250,000 people sitting there, and they're like, Grant, we need to do something with our lives. We know that real estate helped you. How can it help me? What can we do?
Yeah. No, again, everything I do is number one, make a decision, make a commitment.
Yes.
Dude, I'm buying real estate this year. Number two, what kind of real estate? Now you got to focus on what kind of real estate. Is it farmland? Is it apartments? Is it office? Is it strip centers? Is it retail? What is it? Now, if you try to look at all 5 or 6 of those, you're not going to do anything. So why don't you just grab some people that have already played this game, and that if they're not experts, at least they have made a lot of money doing it. Like, I don't know if I'm an expert. I have 8,000 apartments. So times $1,500 a month, do the math. I've been doing this 25 or 30 years. I don't have a certificate that says I'm an expert, but I do have a portfolio that suggests with $2 billion worth of assets under management that I know what I'm doing, which also means I've made some mistakes along the way that you don't need to make. Like if I'd have met you 2 years ago, I'd say, Scott, stop doing the single families. It's insane, bro. And you'd have fought me on it.
Yeah.
But they say, look, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, right? You obviously weren't ready, I guess, for whatever reason. I need people to just grab me out of my universe. Like that's what's happened to me in my life. I've had strangers just wake me up and say, what are you doing? I remember I was selling cars when I was 27 years old. And the guy says, man, what are you doing selling GMC trucks, man? You should be selling yachts. You should be on Wall Street. And he was right. He bought the truck, but it woke me up. The big commission was the wake up. So number one, make a decision. Number two, you got to focus on what kind of real estate you want to buy. Multifamily without a doubt, will be the biggest winner over the next 20 years. Okay. It's not going to be up and down. It's going to be flat for the next couple of years, and then it's going to explode. You want to buy through the flatness. And multifamily apartment buildings, 2 units, 5 units, 10 units, 25 units, 250 units is going to become the new bond, the new treasury bond in America. It's going to become the new dividend play in America. It's going to become the saving grace for middle-class families that want to create wealth, because you can't save money today. There's no savings accounts. You will get trounced, okay? Millions, tens of millions of families will get trounced in the stock market before this is over. You're going to get beat up. ETFs are going to get destroyed. Mutual funds are going to get hammered. And you need to find a place. Cash dollars, the U.S. dollar get freaking, it's being exploited right now because government's printing money. And the big winner is going to be rental properties across America in your own backyard, where people will make tens of millions of dollars.
Ooh, I love it. I love it. You and I think alike. And I always tell people that, buying real estate, it doesn't matter what it is, if it's farmland or multifamily, make sure it's cash flowing, right? Make sure you got that cash flow, because then you can scale and you're profitable and you're getting a bloody paycheck out of passive income.
And it doesn't mean, it doesn't mean that somebody needs to go into real estate full time. You could keep the job you have, do a great job at the job you have, do even better job at the job you have.
Yes.
Work out some bonus program. Hey, they pay you 80 grand a year. Say, hey, what do I need to do here to pick up another 80 without you paying me the 80?
Yeah.
Performance-based bonuses. Go to but see, once you make a decision and a commitment, you'll be like, oh, I don't have the money and I don't have the intelligence. All right, good. So go to your boss where you already work. Don't change jobs. Don't pivot into another industry right now, and say, hey man, what do I got to do to pick up another, $3,000 or $4,000 a month here? And you don't pay it. It's performance-based. And what do I need to do? Customers I need to bring. And those people, that extra 80 grand a year or 40 grand a year that you make, take that money and put it into real estate. Don't send your kids to college.
So let me ask you this. Freaking world's changed. I know you love to get on stage. Your 10X events are legendary. What the hell are you doing now?
So we just did an event. We have a saying in our office, nothing's going to stop us. Okay. And then when the virus hit, I said, ain't no virus going to stop us. And so I'm like, guys, look, the event business has been killed. We do one major event a year. And it's about 12,000 people go to it. So all we did was we just converted immediately. We moved off of what we couldn't do to what we could do. We had 248,000 people sign up for a live event, a virtual event. So we're delivering mentoring programs to people virtually we do 8 weeks mentoring. Any of you that want to join me for a mentor call, I think it's grantcardone.com/CU2020. It starts here Thursday. It's 8 weeks where you get this for 8 weeks. It's a small group of people. It's very exclusive, where you get mentored by me and my team to start changing the way you think. Had Scott gotten this, had you been in that program 10 years ago, you would be, how much real estate do you own right now, Scott?
I've got about 300 units.
Yeah. So you'd probably be at 3,000 units right now.
Yeah.
Because we would have taken those 10 years and squashed it down to like a year.
Yeah.
Where you would have just had a head start. The last 10 years, if you had 3,000 units right now, then 300, and you started buying them 9 years ago, you'd be like, we wouldn't be doing this podcast today. We'd be in St. Barnes.
I'd be like, hey, I'll meet you in Cabo. Let's just take the jets.
Yeah, no, exactly. Let's take the jets. So come pick me up, Scott.
For sure. Well, listen, I'm a big fan. I love the fact that you are always pushing people, pushing them to where they need to be and reminding them that they can do more than they're doing. I really look forward to your 10X events coming back. I haven't been to one yet, but I watch them all digitally. So if people want to find you, they can follow you on Instagram. They can go to your website. A lot of your training is right there on your website. I've seen your courses, lots of sales stuff, some self-help stuff, obviously the real estate stuff. But hopefully we can, I'm looking forward to bumping into you and doing some training together in the future, because there's just too many people out there who are walking through life like zombies, wishing there was something else, but they need the bug in their ear. They need the the caramel secret here that you've got in order to get themselves to 10x-ing, right?
Yeah. Look, and if you got the work ethic and you got the dream and you're showing up every day, and it's not showing up at the bank, so you just have the wrong strategy. So in life, it doesn't matter whether you're learning to ride a horse, run a ranch, McDonald's franchise. There are formulas and there's strategies. It's not just hard work. There is a right and a wrong way to do things, and the wrong way always gets you a mess. And you might still get it, but it's going to take longer. You're going to be spending half your time just cleaning up. You might still get the same result, but it's just going to take longer with a big mess. Just get the formula. Everybody pay. By the way, let me just say the last thing is the great secret that for whatever reason I was occluded to is the easiest way to accelerate success is to simply pay for it. Go buy access. Like if I was starting all over today, I'm 25 years old, I'd go earn $1,000 and find out somebody I could give it to as fast as I possibly could. What I did was I took $1,000 and put it at the bank. And what I should have done is taken it and given it to the local businessman in town and said, here's the $1,000, mentor me. Tell me everything I don't know. I'll meet with you once a week for 15 minutes. Here's $1,000. When I can give you 10,000, I will. I'll put it in your charity if you don't want the money. And I would have earned money and I'd have given it to somebody else that had already been, until I could outgrow that mentor and then go find another mentor and keep doing that. Best money I've ever spent was giving it to somebody that had been somewhere where I hadn't been yet.
Absolutely. Shit, man. That's good advice. Thanks so much, Grant, man. Hopefully we'll see you soon, buddy.
Appreciate you, Scott. Okay. See you in Cabo.
I keep flexing and 10xing.
All right. I love that.
Well, that's that. Grant Cardone, the legend, flexing and 10xing, the 10x rule, which if I have to reiterate it, his advice is don't do things slowly. Don't just crawl to the finish line. He's like, start with a crawl, get up and walk, and then start running as fast as you can. Anything that you think you need to do, you should multiply that by 10 times and find the energy and motivation to make it happen. And he's not wrong. As a business person, there's a lot of times when I've realized I've been thinking too small. Sometimes going from 1 to 2 is actually harder than going from 1 to 10. And there's lots of ways you can do this. A lot of people are struggling to get into real estate investing, struggling to become an entrepreneur. You really have to set your goals higher. And even if you miss your goals and come in a little lower, you're still doing extremely well. Love his story about how he got started. Love his story about, overcoming adversity at the beginning of his career. I didn't know that about him, but we all have our challenges in life. We all have our struggles. And, you can't just become a victim to them. You have to find an outlet to be more successful. So at the beginning of the podcast, I told you guys I went from buying one property at a time to all of a sudden I was told I couldn't buy any more properties. And so I bought 8. How the heck did I do that? Well, I was talking to my broker who said, Scott, he's like, you are running out of momentum. You are not financeable anymore. The banks, the lenders, they basically said, you've bought too many properties. You can't get any more mortgages. And, the whole gamut of possible lenders out there, he basically said to me, he's like, out of everybody, he's like, only these 8 institutions are possibly going to give you a mortgage. And it would be 1 at best. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're really cutting it close. He's like, you could maybe get 1 mortgage. These are the only 8 lenders who will do it. I had to think about that for a minute. I'm like, wow, this is really going to impede my ability to grow if I can only get 1 more loan. And then I thought about it. He said, wait, there's 8 lenders willing to give me 1 loan. What if I got 1 loan with all 8 lenders? And I said to him, I'm like, so could I get all 8 of them to give me a loan? He's like, well, they're not all going to give you a loan unless you had 8 properties. But every time you buy a property, it's going to show up on your credit report. So what if I bought 8 properties in 1 day? He's like, that would be very interesting. And they said, let's see if we can make it happen. I went out for 2 weeks looking at properties every day, found the best potential cash flowing properties, got my tenants lined up, hustled. I was working like 18 hours a day for 2 weeks. I had conditional offers in on all of them, same closing day on all of them because they have to line up perfectly. And I went to my broker and I said, I have 8 conditional offers on financing for these 8 properties, all closing on the same day. And boom, 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 got approved for one more mortgage 8 times. That was my 8x experience. And I closed on all 8 of those properties. And that kept me busy for about 18 months to 2 years, just working on those. And by the time I had those up and running and cash flowing, my entire portfolio was much larger and much more profitable. It had more equity. And I literally went back to the well, back to my broker. 2 years later, I'm like, now what can I do? He's like, wow, look at this portfolio. Now everybody's willing to lend you money. It was unbelievable. It's like, as I was trying to build it, it was impossible to get. When I hacked it and figured it out, now lending became a simpler thing. So that's my 8xing experience right out of the gates. I use 10xing in my own businesses as well, so I completely see where he's coming from. But anyhow, I hope that this was helpful, guys. You got to think bigger. That's the big message here. If you want to learn more about real estate investing, visit me at scottmcgillivray.com. Follow me on Instagram, or you can always stop by the Real Estate Rebel Facebook group and leave me your questions. I pop in regularly, so feel free to leave your comments and suggestions, and we'll see if we can get them answered. Thank you so much for joining me today. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. We'll see you next time.